Hello everyone, this is Velgrim here to bring you a review for Jedi Fallen Order. First off, I want to say Respawn Entertainment has done an amazing job on creating one of the best Star Wars video games ever to come out in years besides Force Unleashed. This game is a jam-packed, action-packed, fun-filled adventure from start to finish. They have done something amazing here, but is it a perfect game? No. It is far from perfect, but what it makes up for in its shortcoming is that it does other things amazing. As a Jedi game, combat is the most important part of any game, especially a Star Wars game. It takes a lot of inspiration from Sekiro, but where Sekiro excels at combat, I find the combat in Jedi Fallen Order to be not up to par when it comes to comparing the two. Obviously, it's not Sekiro, but this game combat falters in many aspects. You parry each attack that comes your way, attack when you find openings, and use force abilities to give yourself an advantage whenever you are in an encounter. But here is where the game falters for me. See, in Sekiro, which is a game that I will be comparing a lot to as it does take the most inspiration when it comes to that game, in Sekiro, the combat is much more fast paced and allows you to be very aggressive with the combat. There is a rhythm to the combat, and it is enriching when you learn the combat correctly. As for Jedi Fallen Order, there is no satisfying reward to the combat. It's flashy with takedown animations and parrying bolts and other attacks. But there is no rhythm to the game as the combat is quite slow. There is a way to it which is fine, but it leaves a lot more to be desired as attacks are slow and parrying can feel disjointed. You parry attacks, but it's very difficult to chain them together like in Sekiro. And most importantly, after a parry, there is a large recovery window that should be an opening for an attack. Instead, Cal will take what feels like forever to attack, and it makes the combat slow and lacks rhythm. You notice this a lot with Purge Troopers, as the combat is just parry an attack, get one, maybe two hits in, and then it's back to blocking to parry another attack to make another opening for you. In Sekiro, you can attack immediately and chain parries together, making the combat more enriching. In Jedi Fallen Order, I felt very underwhelmed when it came to the combat because I never felt like I was a Jedi. I felt more like a slow-moving slug that had to wait for every opportunity to create an opening for an attack. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Of course the enemies will parry or block your attacks. The problem I faced in my playthrough is that I felt every combat encounter took forever. You get locked in taking chain damage, allowing you not to recover from attacks, especially in gang fights. Blocking and parrying felt disjointed when it came to being aggressive, forcing you to be more defensive, which doesn't allow freedom of play when going through a game like this. I do think, however, they did an amazing job making the gameplay fun, as after a while I did have fun adjusting to the new system, but it made every fight feel formulaic and repetitive. It just doesn't make you feel like a Jedi. It makes you feel weak. I was playing on Grandmaster difficulty, and it makes the parry window small and the enemies aggressive on your ass, which makes for fun gameplay, but I do think the bosses and enemies can make you feel quite weak. Cal is a young Jedi, learning the ropes and finding his path, but I still think, as a Jedi, you should be able to be aggressive when you want to. The story itself isn't a gripping tale, but it is a Star Wars story that fits right into the narrative it's trying to create. If you love Star Wars and its stories, this game will make you feel right at home because this is a great story. You are Cal, a young Jedi in hiding, trying your best to not be discovered by Inquisitors. Then life throws Cal a curveball and starts him on a right-at-home Star Wars adventure that has you traveling the galaxy in the hopes of finding a holocron with the names of every Force-sensitive young Jedi. It then becomes a race against the Sith to find this holocron and restore the Jedi Order. You meet a two-party team named Siri and Grease, who save you and take you along a journey to find this holocron. You then travel from planet to planet with an atmosphere so rich you could taste its sweet reward for exploring each planet, as the sense of feel and satisfaction of each planet comes with its own unique environment full of crates to find, filled with ponchos, lightsaber components, and BD1 skins, with echoes around the maps that can either enhance your health, force abilities, or give you lore about what happened in the area. Respawn Entertainment does an amazing job of making each planet feel right in the Star Wars universe and takes you along a fantastic journey through well-designed, dense maps that make the exploration provoking to see what is behind each corner. You will either get attacked by an enemy hiding behind a corner or discover something that will reward you for your curiosity. There are a ton of stormtroopers everywhere as you are being hunted through each area, with unique enemies for each area that feel right at home. They never feel out of place or repetitive, creating an enriching atmosphere for each place. Now, here are some negatives I found during my playthrough. The game itself is quite unpolished. There are many times you will fall through the floor as you are going down the many slides that are in throughout the game, especially this very broken slide on Dathomir that will make you fall short of the ledge every time you jump. Unless you jump early, which is backwards as hell, because if you do jump too early on each slide, you will miss the other end and fall. There are many times when Cal will glitch or appear out of nowhere as the game tries to load. I was playing on PS5 with a PS4 version of the game, and I don't know if it was my hardware or the way the game performed, but I found the game to be unfinished in a few aspects. Like the parry system can feel janky as enemies can miss attacks on you even though you are right in their face. The hitboxes are quite good in many aspects. Other times they can be dysfunctional as you can get hit by attacks you are out of range from. And the tracking on these rocks Malicos throws at you can feel quite broken. The bosses themselves are quite good. They're not secret level bosses, but they serve their purpose and will give you a challenge depending on what difficulty you play them at. On Grandmaster, I died a lot to each boss, but that is the learning curve you will face when coming across each boss. They have their own unique moveset that will keep you on your toes, but I do find and feel that each boss battle is kind of formulaic. As you block or parry each boss the best you can, get one or two hits in as they parry your attacks immediately after getting a few hits in, then it's back to trying your best to survive their long combo strings that can catch you in animations and change up as the boss reaches their different phases. I do think these are great bosses for Jedi Fallen Order. I do think, however, they could allow for more freedom on play styles when it comes to being aggressive or defensive. Instead, you are defensive and only defensive throughout each boss battle, making each boss encounter frustrating at times. There are not that many bosses. It's 13 bosses in this game. There are the main bosses, which can repeat themselves, as you will have multiple encounters with Second Sister, mini bosses that add challenges to your exploration, and bounty hunters that will surprise you as you backtrack through areas. Each one is a great boss, which makes it equality over quantity in my opinion. The thing is though, only a handful of them are memorable, and each boss you come across will challenge you, as each one comes with movesets that are quite good at making you pay attention and focus on each encounter. The highlights of the game are set pieces that will make this game feel like an actual adventure, and the customization that can add to your experience, as you can either change your lightsaber to look how you want with a good chunk of lightsaber parts you can find throughout the many planets. You can even change the color of the lightsaber later in the game, with varied ponchos that look great. It might not be everybody's favorite aspect, but I did like the ponchos. Then there are outfits that you can wear and BD1 skins that allow for a lot of customization that allow the game to feel unique in its own way, with paint jobs for the mantis like this cool Boba Fett skin I found. You have skills that increase your prowess as a Jedi with new force abilities that you discover as you progress through the story, with 3 lightsaber editions that allow you to change the way you play. You can either play with a standard lightsaber or change your playstyle with a double-sided lightsaber that you can find on Dathomir to change up your playstyle, or use the Swiss lightsaber that allows you to go for a devastating attack. I do think, however, there was a missed opportunity to add the Swiss lightsaber as another playstyle to allow for a different combat. It's a great as an attack, I still think though that it was a missed opportunity by Respawn to not add this as another playstyle. Along your journey, you do get additional force powers that enhance your combat with each encounter, with upgrades for BD1 that allow you to hack droids, cut scomp links, charge power boxes, and ride up zip lines. The one thing I absolutely dislike is that New Game Plus does not allow you to carry over any of your skills, force abilities, or BD1 upgrades, making New Game Plus another slogfest as you have to go get everything you already acquired again. I get it that for the story it doesn't make sense if Cal had all these things at the beginning, as each upgrade is a story driven moment, but the whole point of New Game Plus is to go through fully stocked with upgrades and enhancements to make the experience enjoyable. The only thing that carries over are the cosmetics that you pick up in your initial playthrough. Overall, this game is a great Star Wars game. The score is the best I've heard and sounds just like a Star Wars in every scene. It feels like another chapter in the Star Wars universe, making you feel right at home if you enjoy a genuinely good Star Wars game. Respawn did an excellent job of capturing the aesthetic of Star Wars. There are many aspects that hurt this game though, like the combat at times with the repetitiveness of bosses and the lack of rhythm between each encounter. The broken level design, where you can fall through the floor many times throughout the janky slide and climbing sections. The fact that New Game Plus does not carry over your progress in the way that it matters, and the other fact there is no fast travel system, which makes backtracking a chore as you have to go back to several parts of the game that you couldn't access before to get the lightsaber parts or punches that you couldn't get before if you want to be able to fully customize Cal. That's why, in my final score, I'm giving Jedi Fallen Order 7 out of 10 Kyber Crystals. Thank you so much for hearing me ramble, and thank you for clicking on my video. Like and subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye bye!